Up, everybody? We are going to be continuing the RE4 remake and also our Resident Evil challenge of completing all the games before February when Requiem... Oh, fuck. Now, this video has a little more to it than just a regular video of me yapping and playing Resident Evil. This video has a topic that I want to talk about, which is the problem that I think every fan of Resident Evil or has played Resident Evil will completely understand right away. That is the laboratory situation in Resident Evil. And what I mean by that is every Resident Evil starts off, well, not every, but a lot of them start off where they're 10 out of 10 games. And what I mean by that is the game's fantastic. So let's go game by game so it'll kind of sound better as I go through it. Resident Evil 1 has it, but I haven't played Resident Evil 1 in a long time. But it has a laboratory section. Beginning of the game, dope. You're going through the haunted mansion, and there's the dogs, and you're going through mazes, and there's all these puzzles, and there's a giant ballroom, and fantastic game, right? Where does that game go downhill? When you go to the factory. Or not the factory, the lab. It's always an Umbrella lab, Wesker's lab, Tricell lab, whatever this lab is, they're terrible. Let me do this quick. I'll skip this cutscene real quick because I feel like... other way. Anyway, everybody knows what I'm talking about if you've played Resident Evil. But I want to kind of go, not game by game, but... Are we not right here? Am I done? That's it, no? Maybe turn it? Fuck. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to skip this cutscene real quick because I know what's going to happen. But, so, we're going through the games. Let's start with it. RE1 we talked about. Now, just because I feel like the average person nowadays hasn't played the original 1, 2, or 3, but they've played the remakes of 2 and 3 at least. 1 hasn't got a full-blown remake. Number 2, game starts off where? It starts off with Leon. Where Leon going through Raccoon City, it's like his first, beginning of him being a police officer. Fantastic. Love the story. There's a cop in there that's dying. We're going through the whole thing. Amazing. What happens? We're fighting, Mr. X. Great.
Intel you requested on Louis Serra. It seems he used to be a researcher for...
This bitch yapping. Then, what happens? We go to the factory. It's just no matter what the game is with Resident Evil, we always head to a factory or a lab or something along those lines where the game loses its, not story, but it loses like character. And there's 2 that I want to bring up for this video. I know I've been kind of repeating what I say, but there's 2 that really do this horribly. And, well, there's 3 actually, but 6 is one of them, but I feel like 6 everybody skips and pretend like it didn't happen. It was... The only cool thing about that was that one scene with Leon and Chris where they fight in the dark. That's the only thing, and I mean this genuinely, that happens in Resident Evil 6 that is anything of substance to Resident's ass. And I mean that. Complete dog shit. But when we talk about downhill... There's 2. Oh, actually, every time I say there's 2, there's so many. Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 is a mid game. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Very mid. But the thing that Resident Evil, I feel like 5 has going for it, is there's a lot of shit that was new. Like, the boats were new, where you could kind of cruise around. I mean, this has boats, but this is a remake, came out years and years and years after. But there were so many, like, things that I feel like were new. You had a partner that your friend could play as, and you guys, you know how many times, like, me and my brother played through that game? Shout out him. was fucking awesome. Loved it. But then you go to this factory at the end, or like, I don't know, 2/3 to the game, and then you're fighting these big bugs. And, like, it totally just takes you out of the story. But I want to talk about Village right now. And then I want to talk about 7. I love the begin. Oh shit! I love the beginning of Resident Evil 7 or 6. Sorry, no, Village. Wow, I'm stuttering here. I was trying to get away from these fucking things. Of Resident Evil Village, I love the beginning of that game. It starts off with the fake out, and then you have the castle, which was, I think the castle genuinely is one of the dopest starts of a game for almost any game, but Resident Evil specifically. That bangs when you're doing the castle and there's Lady Demetreska, is her name, or Demetresk? That was dope. It gets a little goofy when she turns into a big dragon, but genuinely, that game, dope. And then we go through the village itself, and there's these cool I know the werewolves a lot of people didn't fuck with. I fucked with them. I thought that was kind of a nice change up. I mean, you have dogs here. These are like kind of werewolfy. But I just think overall, if we're being very unbiased, the game is awesome. The story's awesome. You got Chris back. He's kind of older. He's like a vet. And then we start going through the areas, right? We go through the castle. Dope. Castle's by far the coolest one. Then we go through the little village area. And then who's next? Let's say we do the doll next, right? The doll, it's okay. It's not great. A little goofy. Fucking scary. First time you play it. A little goofy. Whatever. Fun. Then, let's say we go through the goo guy, the fish guy. Fucking weirdo. Cool area of the game. Has a lot of cool shit. You kind of feel bad for the guy. Nobody likes him. Where does that game take a shitty turn? Anybody know? Of course everybody knows. When you go to Oh, shit. When you go to Heisenberg's factory. I'm sure a lot of people like that area, and it starts off kind of cool. You have, he controls metal, so there's this, like, you know, a few minutes where you're like, oh shit, and you kind of think he's on your side, but you know he's not. And then the second we get thrown down that fucking hole, and he starts yapping about our daughter, and the daughter shit was kind of stupid, I'm not gonna lie, with Ethan. But when we get to that fucking part where the dude's got a airplane strapped to his chest, no head, no arms, and is running around in that room, the game's dead. The game literally just shits off the cliff. It jumps off. It gets ass. Which is, I think, sad, because that game was a very strong game up until that point. A little goofy. You guys hear someone moaning? But it gets very dumb very quickly. And I hate that, because it's such a solid game in my opinion. But when you get to that Heisenberg area, and that dude's running around with the airplane on his fucking chest, and then, you know what you fight in that whole thing? These weird homemade monsters that make no sense. They're bullet sponges. I don't know. I just feel like, I hate to say it because it's a solid game. It really ruins the game for me. And I think for a lot of people that would be the downfall. It redeems itself that last little bit when you're playing as Chris and that Special Forces team. Shit. And you guys are fucking up people in the village, those werewolves. And the big werewolf comes and you're fucking them up. Dope. Redeems itself. I don't know if enough to make it a solid game as it should have been or could have been. But I'm getting fucked up here. It redeems itself somewhat. And I'm just yapping, but that's what this channel's for, is yapping, playing games, chilling. The other game that I think ruins itself is Resident Evil 7. Now, I would say 7 ruins itself a lot more than Village does. And here's the reason why. 7 saved the Resident Evil franchise. We were on a... And I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. My brother got me into it, and these games are dope to me. Not the best at them, but I really enjoy them. I platinumed a bunch of them. I'd go through and grind them and just go over them so many times. You know where they all lose me is the factory. And I think 7 does it the worst. And here's my full-blown explanation why. 7 saved the franchise 1,000%. It's kind of like how God of War PS4 and PS5, 1 and 2, saved the God of War franchise. These franchises were at a low. After 3 was the peak of God of War. It goes downhill after. They had to save it. Just like Resident Evil. What's the peak of Resident Evil? 4. Every fucking nerd that you talk to, and I don't mean that offensively, will go, RE4 is the best one. In my opinion. Some people like 1 or 2 or 3, or they're like, oh, Code Veronica or whatever. But everybody loves Resident Evil 4 that I know. They go, that's the best one. That's the one that got me in the series. That's the one that blah, blah, blah. After 4, let's go through the list. 4 comes out, banger. Even this game, when we go to the island, which is kind of like a lab. Oh, you fucker. Really shits the bed. But that'll be a topic for when we get there. I'll explain what I like and what I don't. But 4's great. We get 5. People did not fuck with 5 when it came out. It's kind of redeemed itself a little bit, but people did not fuck with 5 when it came out. They thought it was stupid. They didn't like Sheila. She was retarded. You couldn't tell her what to do. She was broken. I don't think she really did any damage. You were kind of the only person doing anything. And that really rubbed people the wrong way. Everybody can tell, compared her to Jill. And it didn't work. Now, what... Oh, that's a big skull. What comes after 5? That was a tough sell for a lot of people. I believe... What was it? Resident Evil 6. What a shit show that was. There was a dinosaur in that game that chased you. You were playing... The only thing that was cool about 6 was that monster that would chase that guy. I can't remember the whole story. It was just like, it was related to him. I can't remember, but that legitimately was the only dope thing about Resident Evil 6. I don't care what anybody says. 6 terrible. And then, what did we get after 6? I think, was that when we got the Revelations remake? Maybe. I can't remember. But we got 2 ass games in a row. People weren't fucking with it.
I've got something new for you, mate.
I don't really need anything yet. I'll just tune this up. Oh, I fucked up. I'm gonna have the strongest knife in the game. Awesome.
Try that on for without the net.
Fuck, sorry guys. So, Vipers for the pass. Now, let's go through and see what else... oh, sorry, I'm kind of yapping. I don't have a script for these videos. I kind of just get off work and kind of rant and bitch, so I don't do it in real life. But after we get the remake of... I think it was Revelations. I really do.
A church. I made it.
We kind of get, like, just some ass games in a row. 2 or 3 ass games in a row. People were over Resident Evil. And they truly were over it. Like, people were like, nah. Even people that I know that play Resident Evil, they'd be like, I don't know. Game's mid. I don't know if I'll buy this one. I'm gonna wait for reviews. Then, 7 comes out. First person. Dope. You deal with the Baker family. I think the Baker family, that beginning where you're in the house at the dinner table, is one of the dopest openings or opening areas to a game where you don't know what's going on. The house was creepy as fuck. You didn't know who was good, who was bad. It was the introduction of Ethan, who... I don't know if people really liked Ethan at the beginning, but came around to like him. And then we get that opening where you're in the car and it's like the phone call. And remember the tapes of the not the trailer, but the demo? Those fucking tapes, man, where you could you're going through as like ghost hunters in this house, which I don't think it was. It the Baker's house? I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. But you were like ghost hunters, and I don't know how they did that so dope, but they did, and I loved it. And they were actually scary for the first time in a long time, where you played the game and you weren't just. It wasn't a shooter.
Let's hope for no more surprises.
It was a legitimate, scary ass fucking game that we all got into. So we're going through that game, dope. The mold monsters were whatever. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I enjoyed the change versus zombies, or in this game, crazy people, as they like to say. They're not zombies. They're crazy people. We go through the house. Cool. Remember when you go into that spare house and the kid, I can't remember his name, Richard or whatever. Oh, I fumbled that. Wow. And he's playing, like, mind games with you, and you're doing puzzles and shit. That was so dope, and they haven't done anything like that since. But what happens? You get to that part, right? All of a sudden... And it gets a little dumb with the bug lady. I think that's pretty fair to say. I think everybody would kind of agree. After the bug lady, what happens? We fight Mr. Baker. I can't remember his name. Let's call him Mr. Baker. Sounds like somebody's math teacher. We fight Mr. Baker, and what happens? We go to this big ship. Instantly, when you get on that ship, you know, you're like, this game's going downhill quick. And it does. You start fighting these stupid mold monsters again that were in the basement, except this time they feel more dumb. And you're just running around doing legitimately nothing. What do you do with the mold monsters? They're bullet sponges, or you light them on fire with the flamethrower. And it's ass. And then, honestly, overall, the game just takes a turn. That little girl spawn. I hated that idea of the little girl. She's spawning all over, and she's running around, and it's mind games, and she's controlling you. I think Resident Evil is truly at its peak, and I mean this when it's like the first half or 2/3 of the game, but really the half. Like even this game, after this, it's gonna take a turn. After we get to this part, we kind of go to the castle. Castle's cool. But you kind of already got your shit leveled up. Everything's a bullet sponge. And honestly, that's just my overall... I don't want to ramble for hours, but overall, I think Resident Evil could be some of the best games made. They fumble at the last third of the game. I don't know why. It's been a common thing since every single one. I don't know who at Capcom, when they make these games, go... Okay, what's good about this game? Oh, the scenery's great, and the characters. Okay, let's change the characters the last third. Let's add stupid monsters. Let's make them bullet sponges. We'll make the boss just grow fucking boils and blisters all over his body. And then what would really ruin it? Oh, if we went to a lab and took you out of the really cool area, put you in a lab, and everything is about researchers and an umbrella story that's so convoluted that no one remembers it. And then they're like, what else would kind of ruin it? Add a stupid boss and a stupid monster. They go, yep, check, and they go, okay, well, we did it. What else should we do? And they go, no, that's it. We won't redeem it. Honestly, I think that's good. Let's ruin the game. And yeah, all right, you guys happy with this? And they put it out, and we buy it, and all the videos. Oh, this is the best Resident Evil. Best Resident Evil ever made, and it truly is. And then the other third comes out. You play the other third, and then we go, oh, that almost. I was gonna say they got me. That almost got me. And then they go, damn, they got me. So I don't want to yap forever. That's my little, I don't know, half-hour review of Resident Evil. What I love about the games, Next, I'll do what I love about the games, but this has genuinely been what drives me nuts. So I appreciate you guys watching. This has been Mustang SDM. Make sure you give me a follow, check out the Twitch streams, and I will catch you guys in the next one.